The world is rapidly evolving with every passing day, bringing new changes that reshape the way we live, work, and connect. Technology, communication, and travel have made our planet more interconnected than ever before, and the pace of transformation is only accelerating. We are witnessing a historic transition, moving from a world dominated by a single superpower to a truly multipolar landscape where influence and leadership are shared among several nations across different continents. New powers are rising on the global stage, challenging the old order and demanding a louder voice in shaping international policies. These emerging nations are not content to simply follow. They are actively seeking to redefine the rules and priorities of global engagement. This shift brings with it the promise of a more democratic and inclusive international system where more voices are heard and more perspectives are considered. Yet it also introduces new competition as countries vie for influence, resources, and leadership. Understanding this profound transformation is crucial for anyone hoping to make sense of current global events. The headlines we see each day are shaped by these underlying changes as nations adapt to new realities. Rising powers are not just seeking economic growth or greater wealth. They are also promoting alternative models of governance, development, and cooperation. These models often reflect their own histories, cultures, and priorities, offering new ways of organizing societies and economies. This creates a dynamic contest of narratives as different countries and cultures put forward their own visions for the future. The Western model, long considered the standard, is now being openly challenged and debated on the world stage. Established powers must adapt to this new reality, learning to emphasize cooperation and partnership over dominance and unilateral action. The ability to build alliances and find common ground will be more important than ever. The central story of our century is unfolding before our eyes. How these diverse powers will coexist, compete, and collaborate in an increasingly complex world. The choices made today will echo for decades to come. Will nations unite to tackle urgent global challenges like climate change, pandemics, and inequality? Or will they fall into rivalry and division, repeating the mistakes of the past? The answers to these questions are being shaped right now not just by world leaders and diplomats, but by ordinary citizens everywhere. Every decision, every vote, and every act of cooperation or conflict contributes to the emerging global order. The stakes could not be higher. The choices we make today will influence the lives of future generations, determining whether they inherit a world of opportunity and peace, or one marked by division and uncertainty. This is a complex and unfolding drama, and whether we realize it or not, we are all participants. Our actions, attitudes, and aspirations help shape the world that is taking form around us. The outcome of this era will define the future global order, how nations relate to one another, how conflicts are resolved, and how humanity addresses its greatest challenges. As we move forward, we must navigate this change wisely with open minds and a willingness to learn from one another. The journey ahead is uncertain, but it is also full of possibility. At the heart of this shift is BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Initially seen as an investment concept, BRICS has become a significant political alliance. They coordinate on economic and political issues, challenging Western-dominated institutions. The new development bank offers an alternative to Western financial systems. In 2024, BRICS expanded, including major energy producers and regional powers. This Growth enhances their economic weight. And influence. BRICS represents a vision of sovereignty and an alternative to Western alignment, despite internal differences. They share a desire for a multipolar world. The rise of BRICS signals a shift in global power dynamics. BRICS aims to reshape global governance, challenging outdated structures. They seek reforms for greater representation in institutions like the UN and IMF by promoting local currencies. They challenge the dollar's dominance. This is a declaration of economic independence. BRICS champions sovereignty and non-inference, appealing to the global south. Their model is about partnership, not ideology. This pragmatic approach wins allies across continents. BRICS envisions a multipolar order, reforming rather than overthrowing the system. The new development bank exemplifies this strategy. BRICS is creating a new center of gravity in international affairs. Imagine a dramatic escalation. BRICS imposes a 100% tariff on U.S. goods. This unprecedented move would double prices for American products in BRICS nations. It would be economic warfare aiming to de-risk from U.S. influence. The goal, U.S. sectors relying on BRICS markets enforce policy change. While hypothetical, it highlights the deep economic ties binding our world. Organizing such a move is complex given BRICS' diverse interests. This scenario underscores the destructive potential of severing global connections. Imagine a world where a 100% BRICS tariff is suddenly imposed on American goods. The impact would be nothing short of catastrophic for U.S. exports. American products from advanced machinery to agricultural produce would become instantly unaffordable in key international markets. The ripple effects would be felt across every sector of the economy as the U.S. finds itself locked out of some of the world's fastest growing economies. American businesses from Silicon Valley tech giants to small town farmers would see their international orders dry up almost overnight. Companies that rely on global sales would be forced to scale back operations, cut costs, and lay off workers. The uncertainty would send shockwaves through boardrooms and main streets alike. China, which has long been a major destination for American exports, would suddenly become inaccessible. Billions of dollars in trade would evaporate, leaving U.S. companies scrambling to find new buyers. In an already competitive global market, this abrupt loss of market access would trigger a corporate crisis with layoffs and business closures spreading rapidly. The job market will be thrown into turmoil as entire industries face an uncertain future. Factories across the country would shut down, unable to sell their goods abroad. Mass layoffs would follow, leaving thousands of workers without a paycheck and communities without their economic lifeblood. The agricultural sector would be hit especially hard, with exports blocked. Farmers would face a surplus crisis, watching their crops pile up unsold and prices collapse. Rural economies would suffer as farm incomes plummet. Meanwhile, prices for everyday goods would rise sharply. Supply chain disruptions and retaliatory tariffs would make imported products more expensive, squeezing household budgets and forcing families to make tough choices. U.S. retaliation would make BRICS imports costly and scarce. Electronics, clothing, and other essentials from BRICS nations would become luxury items, further fueling inflation and reducing consumer choice. The economy would likely tip into recession. Stock markets would tumble, businesses would close, and once bustling downtowns would empty out as economic activity grinds to a halt. Consumer confidence would plummet, with jobs at risk and prices rising. Americans would cut back on spending, deepening the economic downturn and making recovery even harder. The government would face mounting pressure to provide relief. Unemployment lines would grow and officials would scramble to stabilize the economy and reassure a worried public. Economic pain would dominate the political landscape. Debates in Congress would intensify and the crisis would become a central issue in every election and public discussion. This scenario highlights the enormous risks and unintended consequences of a full-scale trade war. The stakes are high and the fallout would be felt for years to come. The consequences would be severe and far-reaching, touching every corner of American life, from the factory floor to the family dinner table, and from Wall Street to Main Street. A unified tariff would also harm BRICS economies. U.S. retaliation would choke off BRICS exports. Chinese factories and India's IT sector would suffer. BRICS industries rely on U.S. components, facing supply chain disruptions. Political and social instability could arise from mass layoffs. Investor confidence would plummet, stifling growth. The unity of BRICS would be tested by unequal impacts. Economic pressure could expose cracks in the alliance. Leaders would face backlash for job losses and hardship. This scenario shows the self-inflicted wounds of a trade war. In a globalized world, no one wins without suffering. The interconnectedness of economies makes conflict costly. A U.S. BRICS trade war reveals our interconnected world. Globalization has created a web of interdependence. Disruptions in one part affect the entire system. A tariff war is like poisoning a shared well. The initial target may be the U.S., but the impact spreads. Countries trading with both blocs would suffer.